Welcome back to These Things Are Written on this Monday as we begin with chapter 21, as we see the promise fulfilled to Sarah of that child. The Lord visited Sarah as he had said, and the Lord did to Sarah as he had promised. And Sarah conceived and bore Abraham a son in his old age at the time of which God had spoken to him. Abraham called the name of his son who was born to him, whom Sarah bore him, Isaac. And Abraham circumcised his son Isaac when he was 8 days old, as God had commanded him. Abraham was 100 years old when his son Isaac was born to him. And Sarah said, God has made laughter for me. Everyone who hears will laugh over me. And she said, who would have said to Abraham that Sarah would nurse children? Yet I have borne him a son in his old age. As we look at this first part, it's a reminder of how God keeps his promises, even those times when it doesn't seem like it's going to happen. He is in charge. He is in control. Abraham did as he was told to do. He named the child Isaac, meaning he laughs. Sarah takes that and kind of runs with it, talking about God has made laughter for me. Everyone who hears will laugh over me. The joy that she has in what she is having happen to her. The other part that Abraham obeyed the Lord in is with the circumcision of his son on the 8th day, to have him set apart as one of God's chosen people. Let's continue with verse 8. And the child grew and was weaned, and Abraham made a great feast on the day that Isaac was weaned. But Sarah saw the son of Hagar, the Egyptian, whom she had borne to Abraham, laughing. So she said to Abraham, cast out this slave woman with her son, for the son of this slave woman shall not be heir with my son Isaac. And the thing was very displeasing to Abraham on account of his son. But God said to Abraham, do not be displeased because of the boy and because of your slave woman. Whatever Sarah says to you, do as she tells you. For through Isaac shall your offspring be named. And I will make a nation of the son of the slave woman also, because he is your offspring. So Abraham rose early in the morning and took bread and a skin of water and gave it to Hagar, putting it on her shoulder along with the child, and sent her away. And she departed and wandered in the wilderness of Beersheba. Again, one of these interesting passages that deals with Sarah and Hagar, the one that Sarah had given to Abraham to bear that child, but that's not what God's plan was. And in doing so, disobeyed the Lord and caused more problems upon herself. And now she is seeing this child, and it reminds her of that sin that she had committed, the lack of trust, her lack of trust in God. And it makes her see that her child is not going to be the one to get everything that God has in store. So she wants Abraham to send Hagar and the child away, which he does. And God says, don't worry about this. This is okay, because Isaac will be the one through whom your name is kept. But I will also bless Ishmael. Hagar and Ishmael went out wandering till they ran out of water and food. Hagar let her son down to die and cried out to the Lord. Verse 17, the Lord heard the voice of the boy, and the angel of God called to Hagar from heaven and said to her, what troubles you, Hagar? Fear not, for God has heard the voice of your boy where he is. Up, lift up the boy, and hold him fast with your hand, for I will make him into a great nation. Then God opened her eyes, and she saw a well of water, and she went and filled the skin with water and gave the boy a drink. Once again, God showing his mercy, God showing his grace in the midst of a difficult time, in the midst of struggling, in the midst of a conflict. God has called them to do the right thing. God has called them and said that they will be a great nation, both Isaac and Ishmael. And yet through that would also, through this sin, lack of trust of Sarah, would come difficulties and problems that would come into the lives of God's people later on down the line through the Ishmaelites. I am so glad that you have joined us today. And I look forward to sharing God's word with you throughout this week, especially tomorrow as we hit Genesis 22. That chapter is a key passage in understanding God's plan through this child, Isaac, and through the nation that would come through him. We'll see you then. God bless. Have a great day.